Okay. So, good afternoon, everybody. So, today we are going to solve an example using genetic algorithms. Okay. So, we have done genetic algorithm on the operators, simple GA flowchart. This was the theory. After this, we are going to we are left with traveling salesman problem. उसके अंदर उसके अलग तरह के operators रहते हैं crossover. That we'll do. But before I wind up this, let's take an example how to solve. So today we will use it for solving a mathematical equation. This is already an example which is solved in a paper. So I've picked it from that. Slight differences, but okay. So let's say we have an equation which is consisting of 4 variables. So this you can solve in MATLAB also. Yesterday like we did. So that is why purposely we are taking this example. Okay. So let's say we are required to find the optimized value or the minimum values which satisfy this equation for the variables A, B, C, D. So first thing when I have this is I need to encode. So first step before I start application of GAS, I need to encode my possible solution in the form of the chromosome. Since it is variables involved in an equation which can take up any value, I will take real encoding in this case. Okay, and based on that I will have a chromosome which is comprising of the real values of the variables A, B, C, D. So this is typically the structure of my chromosome, which is also referred to as a genome, and individual element is referred to as a gene or an allele. Okay. Okay, this is not C1, it should be C only. So this is the structure of my chromosome. So based on that, now my next step is I need to form the population. Since it is a small problem, I'll decide my population size n equal to 6. Okay. So this is my next thing. And assign my population size, and I generate a random population and the random possible solutions. So I will have, actually now I should take a table here. Okay, I'll use this part only. So I will have 6 members in my population. Okay. Let the first one be 12. That is value of A is 12. Value of B is 5. Value of C is 23. This is just random. Okay, this is my first chromosome. Likewise, I have my second individual, which is having 2. 21, 18 and 3. So it is 4. I should erase that. 4, 13 and 14. Next, C4, I have 20, 1. You can solve it side by side because this will help you understand and this is actually required for the application. It is 6. Similarly, C6, it is 1, 4, 13 and 19. ये मैंने रैंडमली लिए जो पॉसिबल वैल्यूज हो सकती हैं. सिंस ये रियल वैल्यूज हो सकती है तो आई हैव टेकन एनी numbers. I could have taken fractional numbers also. There was no problem. Okay. So once I have this, now my third step is, so I'll just, because I need this table, so I'm utilizing the same space. Is to decide on a cost function. Okay. So decide on a cost function. For that, अब मुझे minimum values के लिए equation satisfy करानी है. So one way is I can take the cost function for this problem to be nothing but absolute value of the equation, which is a plus 2b, क्योंकि मुझे इसे minimize करना है. I want the minimum. So this is taken as the cost function. So once this is the cost function, I define my fitness. अब फिटनेस को आपको मैक्सिमाइज प्रॉब्लम या मिनिमाइज लेना है, दैट इज प्योरली अप टू यू. Since I want to get the minimum values, or this is a minimization problem, I can frame the fitness as the minimized value by taking this equal to the same as the cost function, or I could actually convert it into the maximizing problem because it is relatively easy by simply dividing it in this form. मैं इसको डायरेक्ट भी ले सकती थी, तब ये क्या हो जाता, मिनिमम फिटनेस चाहिए होती. But normally we take the cost function to be a minimum or maximum. Fitness is always taken as the in the increasing or the maximizing order. जितनी ज़्यादा fitness उतना better solution. So that is why I have taken it the other way round. Okay, you could have taken directly. So ये मेरा है 1. I have taken deliberately so that divide by 0 problem never occurs. So this is, so we are not opting for any scaling. Once we have this, The next thing is I will have to calculate the fitness of each of my individual. So this is my fitness value Fi for each individual. So you can compute first the cost function values. They are coming for C1 it is 93, for C2 it is 80, for C3 it is 83, C4 46, C5 it is 84 and C6 it is 55. So I have already pre-computed it. I have done it on a sheet. So you can do that. So once I have this, I can simplify the fitness. तो C1 की अगर cost 93 है, तो first fitness would be 1 over 1 plus 93, that is 1 over 94, which comes out to be 0.0106. Similarly, I compute the fitness for other members in my population. So the similar lines for C2 it comes out to be 0.123. For next it is 0.0119. Next it is 0.0213. Then 0.105. And finally this comes out to be 0.0179. So normally fitness is always taken to be in the increasing order. Higher the fitness value, better fit is the solution. So that is why we have taken it opposite. Okay. So then we find the sum of the fitness values of all, which comes out to be 0.0845. Once I've evaluated all the individuals in the population, next step which I have is to decide on the fitness, to select. So next step what I have is to apply my selection operator or select the individuals for process of evolution. So selection की different schemes hai. I could have opted for different. Let's say we are opting for Rowlett wheel selection only. So I opt for Rowlett wheel selection. आपको एग्जाम में एक सबसेट भी आ सकता है, टेबल दिया हो, आपको सिर्फ परफॉर्म करना है, फिटनेस दे रखी है. सो डिपेंड्स व्हाट इज द सेटअप ऑफ योर एग्जाम. सो रॉलेट व्हील के लिए मुझे प्रोबेबिलिटी कैलकुलेट करनी पड़ती है. व्हाट इज द फॉर्मूला फॉर द प्रोबेबिलिटी? द फिटनेस ऑफ द इंडिविजुअल डिवाइडेड बाय द फिटनेस, total fitness of all the individuals. So it is 0. So for first one it will be 0.106 divided by total fitness sum. What is it? It is 0.0845. So we are going to simply divide it, and the value which comes out to be is 0.1254. So again I have pre-computed these values, so you can compute it and check it later. नहीं तो आप एक आधी वैल्यू वेरीफाई करके देख सकते हो. So it is 0.145. Next is 1 4 1 2 5 2 1 2 4 and the last one as अब इसका जो सम है वो अप्रोक्सीमेटली 1 होना चाहिए आपका, ये आप चेक कर लो, एड देम ऑन एंड सी। अब इसकी हम परसेंटेज वी कैन फाइंड आउट, परसेंट डायरेक्टली वुड बी 12.5 14.5 14.1 25.2 12.4 and 21.2. Once we have this, we can make our roulette wheel and we can compute our expected count. So for the expected count, you have to multiply it by 6. Theoretical, that is only for matching. हमें इसको solve करने के लिए इसकी ज़रूरत नहीं है, तो we are not done it. But this was the normal procedure. So I will now draw my roulette wheel. So expected count, which is theoretical, that is just to give an idea that whatever is your selection, random selection using the spin, that is fair enough. Okay, so otherwise कोई खास इसकी वो नहीं है. So I draw my roulette wheel. Just a minute. Okay, so I can just divide my wheel into 6 parts in the same order जैसे वहाँ पे है. Okay, so this is what I have. So this is my C1, my 12.5. So this is actually 12.5. So this is C2 with 14.5. This is C3 with 14.1. This is C4 with 25.2. This is C5 with 12.4. Sorry. And this is C6 with 21.2. So मेरा roulette wheel है. Now I will have to start with the process of selection or the spin. So I will spin it 8 times. Okay. So number of spin, that would be 8. So I'll just again number them and see what individuals they would be selected. So हर spin में एक selection होगा हमारा. So let's say when I spin it for the first time, the random number which comes out to be, that is actually 0.201. सो जो मेरा मार्कर है व्हील का दैट इज स्टॉपिंग एट 0.201. So if I see pi is 0.012, which is less than 0.2, but if I take this whole section of C1 plus C2 together, this marker shall come out at the value which is 0.271 approximately. So किस वैल्यू के किस इंडिविजुअल की प्रोबेबिलिटी ऐड करने से वैल्यू बनती है दैट इज C2. सो इट मीन्स फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम what my individual selected is C2. Let's say now for the next spin, my value which is coming out to be is 0.284. Similarly, in spin 3 it is 0.01. Spin 4 it is 0.79. In the spin 5 it is 0.4, and in the spin 5 it is 0.5. Okay, I've just taken random values. So I'll just see what members will be selected based on that. So as per my computations, for 284, C3 would be selected. 0.1 C1 की भी probability से कम है तो here C1 is selected. 79 के लिए I think it is C6. Then it is C3 again. And for 0.5 it is C4. So this is my new pool from which I have to select my parents. Okay. So once I have this pool, now I will select two parents randomly for the crossover. Now इसमें भी different methods are there. पर हमने जो lab में किया था, if yesterday anybody of you is there who has attended the lab, जब हम tool use करते हैं तो उसमें crossover rate होता है. So I can use that also. So my C5 actually gets removed in this case. I'm left with this pool which is there. So one is random selection. I could have taken any two parents for crossover one time. But other ways, if there is a crossover rate, normally the crossover rate will be varying between 0 and 1. Okay. So it is varying between 0 and 1. So whatever is, let's say it is 0.3. Okay. So what we will do is, इसमें भी randomness ही है, but again हम corresponding to each individual which is there. अब ये मेरा selected pool है, this is not there. Okay, so this is not there. This is what I'm talking about. Let's say first member is C2. C2 के लिए मैं 0 और 1 के बीच में एक random number generate करती हूँ, and if that number is less than 0.3, then it is selected, otherwise it is not selected. This is only one way of implementing. कोई restriction नहीं है. अगर आप random बोलते हो, random means you can pick up any two parents at any time, C1, C3, C3, 6, 6, whatever. But just one way when the crossover probability is given. So you, for every individual, you take up a random number, let's say it is K, which is again between 0 and 1. If that number is less than the CR, so if Ki is less than CR, then less than equal to, then it is selected as a parent, otherwise not. Basically, when I say crossover rate, it means how many uh, individuals in the population they are going to participate in the crossover operation. So that is why it is used like this. Okay. नहीं तो अब रैंडमली अगर आपको पता है आपको एट अ टाइम एक ही नया जनरेट करना है या आपने सबको पार्टिसिपेट कराना है फिर इसकी ज़रूरत नहीं है. फिर इट विल बी ओनली इक्वल पार्ट. मतलब अगर हम 2 पेरेंट्स को पार्टिसिपेट करा रहे हैं तो 2/6 इट इज़ 1/3 रेट होगा. And if it is all the way parents participating, then it will be 100%. Okay. So anyways, we are going to select. Let's say I randomly select the parents to be C2 and C4. Okay. So now I'm going to proceed towards my next step, that is your this crossover operation. So once you have your parents selected, now what is C2? So basically C2 is 2, 21, 18 and 3. While my C4 it is 20, 1, 10 and 6. Okay. So let's say I choose this as the point. So I am going to only swap this part with this. Okay. And I am going to generate 2 new individuals, that is y1 it is 2, 21, 10 and 6, while y2 is going to be 20, 1, 18 and 3. अब अभी हम रिप्लेसमेंट की कोई बात नहीं कर रहे. अब मेरे ये 2 नए इंडिविजुअल्स आ गए विच आर देयर. ओके. So these are the values of A, B, C, D. Next step what I have is mutation. So the next step what I am going to have is mutation. As I told you, mutation की एक probability होती है. So probability of mutation is there which is generally kept low. तो इसके लिए we calculate the total genes in the population. So for calculating the total genes, see it is either done multiplying it with the population size if the population size is sufficient enough. Okay. लेकिन जैसे हमारी population बहुत छोटी है तो we calculate the number of genes. So total genes है एक क्रोमोसोम में 4 parts हैं और कितने क्रोमोसोम्स हैं मेरी पॉपुलेशन में 6. So it would be 4 into 6. So if your population is large enough, it is simply multiplied by the size of the population, or it can be calculated by multiplying it by the total number of genes. So अगर ये 0.1 है मेरी mutation probability, so the total number of genes which have to be mutated, they are going to be 0.1 into 24, which comes out to be roughly equal to 2.4. I can approximate it to be 2. So it means any 2 genes of any individual in my population can be changed. That can be from the previous old population or from the newly generated offsprings. That is totally a random replacement. So let's say I am going to change this C1 which is there in the population. I take this value and I change it to 2. और दूसरी जो मेरी चेंज है, आई चेंज दिस। तो मैंने अपनी ओल्ड पॉपुलेशन में से चूज़ किया है। अब मेरे पास जो इंडिविजुअल्स है, ये मेरे पास पूल है पॉपुलेशन का old. Here I am having two new entries, y1 and y2, plus I have two new mutated versions. Now how to decide on the replacement, that will depend upon the fitness, or I should say the objective function की जो value है उस पे. So now I'll retain y1 and y2, I'll erase rest of the part so that I can calculate. अब अगर मैं calculate करती हूँ, if I try to calculate, it is 2 directly plus 21 into 2, that is 42, 44 हो गया, 44 into 3 plus 10 plus 30, 44 and 30, 74, 74 and 24, because it is 6 into 4. 74 and 24 is 98. 98 minus 30, so absolute function या the cost function की जो value है y1 के लिए, that comes out to be 68. Okay. Likewise, I calculate it for, so this is for y1. Similarly, I calculate it for cost for y2. So y2 की जो cost है, that comes out to be 20 plus 2, 22. 18 into 3 is 54. 54 and 76. 76 and 12. 76 and 12 is 88. Okay. So 88 minus 30, 58. I hope I'm doing it right because I'm doing it orally. I've not computed this part. So similarly, मैं C1 जो ये mutated version है, I'll put it as C1M. So C1 मेरी original उसमें होना चाहिए. हाँ, ये देख लेना, इसमें होना चाहिए. ये मैंने यहाँ से उठा के कर दिया. मुझे basically इस population में से किसी को mutate करना था. Luckily C1 and C3 both are there. So इसमें इसकी जो original थी वो आई थी, I think 93 आई थी. तो 93 में से मैंने 4 into वो कर माइनस कर लो. एक्स्ट्रा क्या हुआ? 6 into 4 24. 93 में से 24 माइनस करोगे तो कैसे आएगा? 9 69. So this would give me, या मेरे को यहाँ लिखना चाहिए. So इसकी 69 आ जाती है म्यूटेटेड की. एंड C3 इट इज हैविंग, इसकी भी डिक्रीज होगी, अब इंक्रीज हो जाएगी. सो इसकी इंक्रीज हो जाएगी. सो इट शुड बी इंक्रीजिंग बाय 2. सो C3 की ओरिजिनली हमारे पास क्या थी? 83, तो 85 हो जाएगा. सो यहाँ पे 85. So now for replacing, I can just compare the cost function value. मेरी cost function value क्या होनी चाहिए? Minimum होनी चाहिए. So अगर मेरी newly generated pop जो है वो उनकी पेरेंट्स से कम है, तो अगर हम पेरेंट्स देखें, पेरेंट्स कौन थे इनके? C2 और C4 थे. तो C2 की the cost function value it was 80, and for C4 it was coming out to be 46. So definitely I can replace y2 C2 with y2. So C2 की जगह I can add y2. I'll just take another color and erase this. So C2 it is getting replaced by Y2. C1 has one of the low, C4 has one of the lowest and it is the most fit. So हम इसको नहीं निकाल रहे हैं. So it will be retained. Now coming to the mutated ones. So only one it has been replacing there. Mutated versions C3 will be retained because उसकी mutated version की ज़्यादा है. And for C1 it is decreasing, showing a decrease. So this would be replaced by the mutated one. So basically अब मेरी population size same रहा. C2 की जगह Y2 आ गया. C3 remains. C1 की जगह mutated version आ गया. C6 remains. C3 it remains. And C4 it remains. So I have improved upon my fitness or the objective function with the one iteration. So this process has to be repeated in the genetic algorithms till we are reaching the stopping criterion, which can be number of runs or which can be actually your the fitness value or the cost function objective function या cost function की जो value है that. So I hope we are very clear on how to apply your genetic algorithm. If anybody has any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, I will close this. And just take your attendance. Ashish, Prakhar, Siddharth and Suneet. You should be regular in your class because towards the end, your quiz marks are also ready. I'll be sharing them with you people. बिकॉज वो पूरी लिस्ट है. अब मैं उसको उस पर अपडेट नहीं कर रही हूँ, गूगल फॉर्म्स पे अपडेट नहीं कर रही हूँ बिकॉज इट इज़ बेटर टू चेक द CSV फाइल रादर देन check it on the Google form for the answer for individual. So I have appended that in the CSV file only. So those Excel files I would be sharing with your CR. Okay. And please try to be more regular because whatever is there in the lectures that is only going to, because जो दूसरे lectures उसमें ये नहीं examples आपको भी, हमारे पास time है तो we are taking examples. जब question आएंगे तो ऐसे ही question आएंगे, फिर nobody should say that these questions are ambiguous or they have not been covered in the class. Okay, so thank you so much. हाँ जी. Yes, that is what I'm saying, Prakhar. एक्सेल शीट मैंने एक्चुअली गूगल फॉर्म से, बिकॉज एक क्वेश्चन आपका ब्लैंक वाला था ना, तो ब्लैंक वाला मैनुअली चेक किया है बिकॉज बच्चे उसमें डिफरेंट आंसर्स लिखते हैं. सो व्हाट आई हैव डन इज आई डाउनलोडेड द CSV फॉर्म फ्रॉम द शीट फ्रॉम द गूगल फॉर्म. So उसमें I directly get the question and the answer. So I deleted other questions. I kept only that. It was very easy for me to evaluate किसने सही किया and increase the marks in the total. Okay. So I've done that. So Excel sheets उनकी तैयार हो गई हैं. That I would be sharing with the CR just after this lecture only. Okay. So thank you so much.